well out there, and today we're going to head back to 2007 for a Michael Bay film. But before we do that, do me a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. Join me here, great would appreciate that. Today we're going to talk about Michael Bay's Transformers, our first live-action Transformers film. This has been requested several times, and I'm finally getting around to it. So for all you out there that requested this one, here we go, we're getting into it. This film was brought to Michael Bay by none other than Steven Spielberg. Michael Bay said no the first time, he thought about it, and then he accepted, and away we went. Now, Transformers dropped on July 3rd of 2007. I remember seeing this opening night. My wife and I were living in California. We saw it at a theater in San Luis Obispo, California. And the theater was packed. Everybody's excited to be there. A lot of Transformers fans, because we hadn't had a movie since the cartoon movie, the animated movie in the 80s. So everybody was very excited about this movie. It's rated PG-13, it's 2 hours and 24 minutes long, and it had a budget of $150 million, and upon release it made $319 in America and $709 worldwide, so it was a huge hit that summer. In this film, we got Shia LaBeouf as Sam Witwicky, and his, we'll talk about Shia LaBeouf. I like him as an actor, actually. I think he's actually a pretty good actor. It's unfortunate he kind of fell off there. Megan Fox plays Michaela, this girl that Sam has his eye on and really wants to date. Josh Duhamel is in here as Captain Lennox. We have Tyrese Gibson in here as Sergeant Epps. He is in the same company as Captain Lennox. John Voight plays the Secretary of Defense, and we got the great John Turturro as Agent Sims of Sector 7. Look, this is a movie based on toys I played with. There's one right there, Omega Supreme. My son has a bunch of them. The original Optimus Prime, Trypticon, a bunch of them. I had a ton of Transformers when I was a kid. I watched the cartoon religiously. I love the original animated film. I still watch it every now and then to this day. So I was excited about this film. I'm a big Transformers fan, more so Generation 1 through the animated film. And I, see Optimus Prime on the big screen in his first live-action adventure, so I was very excited. Now, this movie starts off, we're introduced to Sam. He's in high school, and he's looking to, if he gets a good grade, his father's going to buy him a car. This basically, the movie starts off with a kid trying to get his first car. And they buy this piece of crap Camaro that ends up being Bumblebee. And pretty soon, Sam realizes there's more to his car than meets the eye, wink, wink. And pretty soon we're introduced to our Autobots, and we find out the Decepticons are here trying to find Megatron and find the Allspark, this cube that could reignite Cybertron. And pretty much it's the Decepticons trying to find the cube, the Autobots trying to find the Allspark as well to prevent the Decepticons from getting it, to do their dastardly plan. And the U.S. government's involved, the military. There's a lot of moving parts in this film, and that was one of the negatives back in the day. It doesn't bug me as much now, but when I first saw it, I was like, there's a lot of stuff going on here. It doesn't need to be here. Finally, we're told where Megatron is because the government's been keeping him in the Hoover Dam. They built the dam around him to hide him from any surveillance from space. Decepticons know he's there, and the Allspark's there. We get our final battle in the one city. Megatron is resurrected. We get a battle between Megatron and Optimus Prime, which you would hope in a film like this. And Megatron is dispatched along with the rest of Decepticons, and the Autobots decide to hang out on Earth, and they put a signal out, Optimus does, for other Autobots to come to Earth where they can live in peace with the humans. And that's the end of Transformers Part 1, because obviously Michael Bay's films, they made 5 of them actually, but we're just going to review the first one here. What to like about this film? I think Shia LaBeouf's good here in the main role of Sam, this kid who just wants to get a car and try to impress this girl Michaela, played by Megan Fox. I think the cast here is pretty good. When I originally saw this, I hated what they did to John Turturro. I actually left the theater that opening night pissed off at this film. It took me a little bit to get here. It took me a few years, a couple of rewatches. I bought the DVD when it first came out. And after a few rewatches, I started liking this film more, because I am an unapologetic Michael Bay fan. So I was excited, Michael Bay with Transformers. But when I left the theater that night, I was kind of pissed off. I remember writing a review on MySpace, if you remember MySpace, and I wasn't too thrilled with this film. I actually went back and saw it in the theaters again by myself. My wife went with me the first time, and I went back again to see it by myself, just to see if I felt differently. And even on the second viewing, I started warming to it a little bit, but I still wasn't thrilled. I didn't like the designs. I thought the designs were too busy. I love the original look from the cartoons. I was tied to the original cartoon a lot. I didn't like what they did to John Turturro's character. Now, that character has grown on me over years, especially in this first film. The action's well done by Michael Bay, as you'd expect. There's a lot of CGI. All the robots are CGI, but there's a lot of real-life explosions and car wrecks and stuff like that. Michael Bay does a really nice job of blending CGI with practical effects, like he's always done throughout his career, because he's been doing big movies for 20-some years now. And the CGI still holds up incredibly well. Even in this under scrutiny of 4K, the CGI holds up really well. CGI in the first Transformers looks better than half the CGI shit we're seeing now, which blows my mind, considering they already had a $150 million budget. Some of the films now have $300 million budgets, and the CGI looks like garbage. Negative-wise, it didn't give me everything I wanted in a Transformers film, which... that's on me. Maybe I was expecting too much. Constructicons, I mean, we get to see them in the second one, which they never lived up to my expectations because I love the original design. But the designs I was never thrilled with, even to this day. I mean, Optimus looks cool, but some of the other designs are too busy. There's too many moving parts. To me, they didn't need to be that way. But overall, this is a fun summer blockbuster. Overall, I can sit down and have a good time with this film. It's a fun summer blockbuster with big-ass robots beating the shit out of each other for 2.5 hours. With human characters, there's too many human characters, and that's been one of my complaints since the beginning of all this. But Shia LaBeouf anchoring the film, and I like Josh Duhamel here, and Tyrese Gibson, and Jon Voight, and John Turturro grew on me. The actors do what they can with what they're given, but what we're really here for is the robots. And at the end of the day, they do give us that. Although it takes quite some time to really get into the robot action. But once we do, it's pretty nonstop till the end of the film. So at the end of the day, this is a fun, harmless summer blockbuster movie that's well made by Michael Bay and his team. The action really is pretty damn good. The special effects hold up really incredibly well. And at the end of the day, you know, I enjoy this film. My son loves this film. Now, ILM did all the CGI effects. Peter Cullen did come back to voice Optimus Prime. Hugo Weaving would come in to voice Megatron. Again, like I said, most of the action shot practically, but obviously the robots are CGI. At the end of the day, I would give the first Transformers an 8.5 out of 10. An 8.5 out of 10 for the original Transformers. What are your thoughts on this one? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Share this video. I would appreciate that. I'll be back soon with a little review for a little summer horror movie called Summer of '84. I'm going to review The Meg for my first time reviewing it next week. So The Meg 2 comes out next Friday. I plan on seeing that. But until next time, bye.